Hello everyone, and welcome to another Sunday afternoon chat on a cold and dreary Sunday afternoon. It's not too bad though. I just came from church. That's right, church. We actually had church at Midway Hills Baptist. We had maybe 20% of the people that normally show up for Sunday church. But by golly, we had church. Our preacher did a magnificent job. We did not have a praise team. We had music and videos, and they were really great. Some of the Christian music that I listen to all the time anyway. So that was absolutely splendid, fantastic. And we had a great church. My preacher mentioned, we had a deacons meeting Wednesday night, and there were 6 or 7 of us there, and we had a long business meeting because we had a lot of discussion about whether to have church or not have church. And we all realize that church is not a building. That's God's church. It's God's temple that we attend, but we are the church. We are the church, and so we had a few that had kind of made their mind up to that we didn't need to have church. We had a lot of discussions, and we decided to have church. I think the church doors ought to be open. I think Christians should be assembling together and staying apart, social distancing at the same time. Our church is large enough, and with only 20% of the people there, we knew a lot of people wouldn't be there, and if you wasn't there, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. We're not admonishing anyone, and particularly a lot of people that their immune systems are a little low, or they have some underlying health conditions, or they're a little bit getting on up there in the years. All of those things complicate the situation with the virus, and so the people that wasn't there, we certainly respect that. But for the ones that were there, they were blessed in a mighty way. And I'll tell you something else. I believe that God's going to reward each one of them for being there and meeting in His house and lifting up this nation to Him in prayer, lifting up each other in prayer while not contacting each other. We set some guidelines in our deacons meeting, great guidelines as a matter of fact. We canceled everything except that 1-hour Sunday morning worship service where we worship and praise God, and asked for Him to be involved in all of our activities over the next week or so. Hi Milburn, you had to come and see me, didn't you? Yeah. You just move around out here in the yard, and Milburn and Lucy, and she'll be around pretty soon, I'm sure. Milburn and Lucy's going to show up. That's just all there is to it. But anyway, we had I need to get up. It's wet. I need to get up and somehow figure out how to walk instead of walking through the woods like an idiot. I need to get out of this wet grass and get up here and walk on the gravel. That'd make a little sense, wouldn't it? And I'm walking through Lucy's food plot. You don't remember when I built that food plot? That's what it looks like right now. Doesn't look too good, does it? That doesn't look too good at all. Got some big clover growing and we have quite a bit of rye growing in there, really. There's a lot more stuff there than it really looks like. I think we had a lot of the seed wash away in those plantings that I did. Actually did a couple of plantings on it. We've got it pretty thick in places in there too. There's some places where there's an awful lot of grass growing. And you can see it washes real badly too. We'll probably redo that again with something here a little bit later on. But anyway, back to the deacon story. We talked a lot, and we kind of convinced each other. I got to be honest with you. I was on the side of not closing at all. And one of the things that we thought about is when you close a church, of course, obviously that makes the devil happy. He doesn't want us worshiping God. And the other situation is, if you close it, you're pretty much at the mercy. Got over here to the road. You're pretty much at the mercy of the world of when to open it back up. Because once you close it, then you really can't open it up until an all clear has been given. And here's what I think. I think that by keeping the door open, and may not be able to do it next week, obviously if our governor here in Oklahoma issues a deal that the churches must close, we're going to obey the law, maybe. Probably will, though, I'd say. our preacher mentioned two words that he heard a lot after we had that deacons meeting Wednesday night and decided to keep the church open. You know, we have Facebook and we have YouTube and we have all texting and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know about your church, but our church has got about a dozen people that can spread the word quicker than anybody in the world. And once they find out that we're going to have church, it gets spread. And all over Murray County, Sulphur and Davis, we may be the only church open, the only one I know of, but maybe one of very few in the whole nation that remained open this Sunday. But after the word got out, my preacher said he heard lots and lots of comments, and the two words that come up most, one was a good one, bravery. He said that people said, man, y'all are brave to do that. Y'all are really brave. You know, you're not afraid of the virus, and we're not. You're not afraid of the virus. It's serious, it's deadly, but we're not afraid of it. And you're also brave because a lot of people, both Christians and non-Christians, are going to be saying a lot of ugly things about y'all. And it's true. They have been. And they will continue to. But that's okay. That's okay. And the other word that he heard a lot was people questioning our intelligence. Our intelligence. And that makes some sense too. I have my intelligence questioned all the time. By the way, there's another food plot right there. Take a look at that food plot. That's another food plot. Isn't that a pretty one right there? That's another food plot, and another one back over here. These are both real close to the house here. So you just see that food plot back over there in the woods. So, you know, Lucy and Milburn have a lot of great places to graze. The pig's been tearing this one up. We're going to start trapping those pigs in a big trap, hopefully this next week. My buddy Joe Arms is going to bring a bigger trap over, and we're going to get after those pigs a little bit more. But anyway, we decided to have our church. Oh, we had a great church, by the way, fantastic church. Preacher did an amazing job, and it was fantastic. I've had a great week, by the way. Just recap this week real quickly. I shot a television show Monday with my buddy Josh Jones. We had Josh and myself and a camera guy in the boat together, so I guess we practiced social distancing pretty good, 21-foot boat. And Josh spends most of his time on the water just like I do, so he certainly hadn't been exposed to too much. But we had a great day. Caught a 9/11, was our largest fish. We only caught 6 bass all day long. But we caught a 7, a couple 6s, and a couple of 4s. So had a pretty big string of fish there. The way we're fishing, and I'm going to do a video. And you need to let all your friends know this, because we're going to do a video on how to catch giant bass. That's right, how to catch giant bass. The biggest bass that are in the lakes, whatever lake you're fishing, the biggest bass that's in the lake, using a Garmin Ultra HD locator and a Panoptic life scope. Josh is the best I've ever seen at it. I doubt if I'll ever get as good as he is. He fishes 250 to 300 days a year, and he's just amazing. He's so good with it, it's amazing. I've learned a lot in a short period of time. Some of that fishing on my own, some of it fishing with Josh. But how to show you how to set that unit up. I'm going to shoot some video this week, show you how that we have my Garmin set up, and this is how you need to set them up. Give you some little shortcut tips on what to do, and then show you some fishing action of catching those giant fish, and tell you some things about bass that just literally blow my mind. Things that, quite honestly, I didn't know that that bass, they do differently than what we've always thought they would do a lot of times, particularly these giants. We are literally fishing for the biggest bass in the lake, period. We are actively looking for a new state record. Probably will not find that fish this year. Probably have to wait till next spring to do it. That'll be okay. I'll know a lot more about it by next spring. But that's what we're doing. I'm going to do a video showing how to use a Panoptic life scope, how to catch the biggest bass that you've ever caught in your life. That's exactly what we're going to be doing, and we'll be doing that video probably this week. I picked up my grandkids Monday night. I told them, I said, guys, they're saying all over that grandkids shouldn't go visit grandma and granddad, so we're having 5 of you here for a week. And that's what we did. They finally left Friday. We had a great week. My grandson Lightning, who's 13 years old, caught his PB, personal best bass, and PBB, I guess you'd say it, personal best bass, 8 pounds, 5 ounces. Caught it on a little swim bait made by my buddy at BioBait. I caught a bass about the same size. We thought it might have been a little bit bigger. We got to look at the pictures though, and either he's really good at taking the pictures or his might have been a little bit bigger than mine. Actually thought mine was about 9 pounds, but we weighed his, so we know that his was an 8 pound 5 ounce. He caught another bass that very same day that weighed 654. 654. We had our scale set on hundreds on that one. 654. So we had 3 really good days bass fishing. I fished Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Some all 3 days. Had a great day every single day, and just had a terrific time. What can I say? We just had a terrific time. That's just all there is to it. And the weather was gorgeous, beautiful. We're having a wet, rainy day today, but we're supposed to have 80-degree weather here later in the week. Some of it starting tomorrow. So I'm planning on another good week. We are practicing social distancing here at Twin Eagle Ranch this week. I've got my buddy Jeff Shaw that might come in here and fish Thursday and Friday, but he is tied up running those 5,500 O'Reilly stores. So he told me he was a question mark for this week, and for Jeff not to go fishing, there's a lot he's got to be doing at O'Reilly's because he's a very, very important individual there, him and Greg Johnson that run that company, and they wanted to keep those O'Reilly stores open for all of y'all because they are an essential business, federally recognized as an essential business because they provide parts for all the fire departments, the ambulances, the hospitals, the police departments, everything that we need to keep this company running. They get their parts from O'Reilly, most of them, and so they are an essential business. They're trying to keep their businesses open to keep serving y'all. They make some adjustment to the hours, but what a great company that is. But Jeff may or may not come down. I'm going fishing anyway. We are going to try to shoot a walkthrough of my new Tracker off-road. Also maybe a walkthrough of my new Tracker 195. We had a walkthrough of my 2019 model, but we've even tricked this one out better, and it's just absolutely the finest Tracker 195 I've ever fished out of. We showed a vid fishing out of that this week, down there fishing with my buddy Redberry when we caught an awful lot of fish down there on a sinking worm, a Lucky Strike pow stick. So anyway, we've had a great week. Looking for another great week this coming week. Like I said, I plan on fishing quite a bit. Going to do a little cleanup on the property out on the county road. We have no trash on this ranch, and we do have trash on the county road because people just leave it there. I mean, for some reason, they just throw it out the window. When they get through with a Coke or a beer or something like that, they throw it out the window and they throw trash and stuff out. So Chris and I are going to do a little cleanup on that this week. So that should be really fantastic. And so we also are going to fish quite a bit. No doubt about it, going to fish quite a bit. We got a project going, cleaning up our boat building. We will show you that also. And so I plan on fishing a little bit every single day, all week. A little bit every single day, all week long. As I end this thing out here right now, we've rambled on for quite a little while, but as I end this, let's talk about the craziness that's going on in the United States of America and all across the world. You know, this little deal right here might be a kind of a forerunner to the tribulation, the end of the world, the end of the earth. This is not it. But it might be a forerunner of what might happen. And we're seeing people fight over toilet paper. I kind of tell you, my God is bigger than toilet paper. My God can solve every problem in the world, and he's certainly a lot bigger than toilet paper. There's no doubt about it. And God has got this situation. God was not surprised when the coronavirus showed up out of China. He was not surprised at everything that's going on right now. But God is still on the throne. The greatest things we can do as children of God is to pray. That's the greatest things we can do. We can pray. We can talk to God, and we can talk to Him about our friends, our neighbors, our fellow Americans, all the people around the world, and we can explain to God how we trust Him, how we love Him, how we know that he's got this. There's a Bible, verses in the Bible, a lot of them talks about fear. I talked about this last week a little bit. And I've been answering a lot of the comments this week. Fear not. Fear not. For I am with you always, even unto the end of the age. What if this is a precursor of the tribulation? What if the tribulation is just around the corner? God is with us, and he will be with us even until the end of the age. Hey, little buddy. This guy right here loves to come up behind me and just nuzzle me a little bit, give me a little loving. Just give me a little loving. But can I tell you, God's got this. We'll look back one of these days. We'll say God solved the problem. God did this. And God didn't create this. Man created this virus. But God will solve this problem just like he solved so many. A lot of you aren't old enough to remember when some airplanes flew into some buildings up there in New York City. One congresswoman said some people did some things to America. Well, some people did some things to America, and they killed 3,000 people in one morning. A lot of you are like me. You watched it unfold on television. You saw those buildings fall. America was under attack. You saw the world shut down. In this country, a lot of people in the rest of the world applauded. They cheered. But what did Americans do? We clung to God. We clung to God. We need to cling to God right now. I guess you should say cling to God, huh? But that's exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be praying. God is looking down here and asking us, do you trust me? Do you trust me? I'll tell you a story about trust one of these days when we got a little more time. But God is saying, do you trust me? If you trust me, I got this. Let me have it. Let me take care of the problems. My recommendation, I know very little about all of this, but my recommendation is live your life with your family. Do what they tell you to do. Nothing wrong with social distancing. I've got friends who've been practicing social distancing for the last 20 to 30 years. So my wife practiced that a lot, as a matter of fact. I had one girl said, I wonder when this is going to be over because my husband wants back in the house. Not that bad over here. She hadn't locked me out yet. But do things positive this week. Look for things that are positive. One of the things that I read from one of my friends is that their entire family is at their house. All of the kids, first time their family had been totally together in 20 or 25 years. Use situations like that as a positive situation. Spend more time with your kids. Spend more quality time with your wife. If you're like Chris and I, television's not much if it's not a fishing show or something, bouncing a ball or throwing a ball or hitting a ball. We're so involved in sports and the outdoors, we still have fishing shows, but we have no more sports, so those are gone. And so it allows you to spend a little bit more quality time together. I also have a friend of mine that wrote a little deal about spousal abuse. And I just want to caution everybody about that. He said that a lot of women that work, the only time that they're not concerned or worried about spousal abuse is when they're at work. A lot of them are not going to be working right now. They're going to be at home. And if that happens in your household, guys, don't. Just simply don't. I don't know any way to control it. Don't know any way to control you. You obviously can't even control yourself. But let's not have that. One of the countries, I think it was Spain or Italy, spousal abuse went up by a huge percentage, 200 or 300% over what's normal. Let's not let that happen in God's chosen country of the United States of America. Yep, I believe he chose this country, just like he chose Israel. That's why we're so blessed. We need to make sure we keep telling him that too. The other thing I want to think about is all of this close contact might not create spousal abuse, but it might create some problems. You know, a lot of my buddies have said the reason that Chris and I have stayed married for over 50 years is that I'm on the road a lot. I work a lot. I'm out there running around the country doing appearances, shooting television shows, and working. And so about the only thing we have time to do when I get back home is honeymoon a little bit. And we don't have time to fight. We really don't fight. We don't bicker. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. And we used to back when we was first married until I came to my senses. But we just don't do that much anymore. But here's a little hint that I want to give to you guys. And seriously pay attention to me, because it's going to happen in these times of self-quarantine, staying inside, people losing jobs, having trouble financially. I'll talk about that before I quit here too. But you're going to be in situations where you're with your wife and your kids 24/7, more than you have been for a while. Some of you might have been 20 or 30 years, like some of my friends, since you had the whole family there together 24/7. You're going to have opportunities when your wife or your kids say something or do something that really gets under your skin, that really rubs you raw. Can I tell you just to count to about 5, even 3, 1, 2, 3, before you comment on that, before you say anything about it. It's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. It happens at my house every time I got 5 grandkids here for a week. I can just tell you that right now. And it's not only always the grandkids that I want to make a comment to. It's Chris a lot of times. And but I'm telling you, if you'll just pause for 4 or 5 seconds, and then you don't say it more than likely. Now you ladies, well, I know I've been married over 50 years. I know better to try to give advice to ladies, so I'm just not going to do it. But the exact same thing would work for you. You might be able to figure that out on your own without me telling you. So when your husband says something or does something that just bugs you to no end, just kind of say, bless his heart. There's some reasons I love him. This is not one of them, but there's some reasons I love him. Just give him a hug around the neck. It's not easy to be around your wife and your kids, or your husband and your kids 24/7 for an extended period of time. But let me tell you, use that as an advantage. Use that as something positive, that you can spend the quality time that you really need to fish. The best place in the world I know of to have social distancing is out fishing. The fish don't have any virus. They don't even know about the virus. They don't care. And one of the things that's happened, we're having this virus in the United States, in the South, at the exact same time that the fishing is getting better every single day. So take off and go fishing. If you live around a city, maybe you can slip down to a river or a creek or something nearby and fish. We see all these YouTube videos of people catching big fish in the strangest places. They try to find a place that doesn't have a fish in it, go shoot a YouTube video on it, a sewer pipe or something like that. You got some place close to fish by you. If you're out in the country like we are, you got a farm pond, or you got a creek, or you got something. My buddy Daniel Arms at Arms Family Homestead, his creek is up so high they can't even get across it. Fortunately, they have a bridge. They can go over the top of it. At my house on Lake Tenkiller, you could not get to my house right now. You'd either be in or out. You wouldn't have been able to do what we did this morning, go to church. But wherever you are, go fishing. Go spend some time outdoors. Go walk around in the outdoors. The outdoors provides vitamin D. It's going to help your immune system, and you're going to get through this. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to get through this. God is going to get us through this. Do not fear up about this situation. Do not fear up about this situation. This is going to pass, and America's going to be stronger for it. You're going to be stronger for it. Your family's going to be stronger for it. We're all going to be better. Hopefully, we come out closer to God. Maybe this is a wake-up call for Christians. If all the Christians in this country pray to God about the coronavirus, God's going to say, whoa, do those people really trust me? They surely do. And that's what we want God to know. Not only will he solve that problem, he's going to bless you for talking to him. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great week this week. As always, I love you.